start this week's lesson. I'm so glad you're here. Anyway, so this week's lesson in your packet I created for the district, and it's called Wacky Hair Portrait with Emotions. So the lesson is about drawing someone that you know or yourself. Maybe you're drawing yourself without a haircut since the remote learning has happened, or maybe you're going to draw someone in your family that got their hair cut and maybe show their reaction when they were done, since most of us are not professional hairdressers. So I thought that would be a really fun lesson for us to do. And if you look right here, you can see that it shows you different shapes of heads. You know, when you're looking at the person that you're drawing or yourself in a mirror, think about the way your shape of your head is, because that's where you're going to start. And then on the next page, you'll see that there is references to, you know, different kinds of lines for hair. You know, what kind of hair would it look like? Do they have curly hair? Would you use a curly line? And then there's different facial expressions, because I want you to show the expression of the person that you're drawing. Are they happy? Are they sad? Are they frustrated that they have to get their hair cut and can't go to the barber? Think about that. And then the last page is about the colors that you're going to use. And here's some examples of some really fun drawings showing different hair and hairdos that people have drawn. So I thought it was really cool to give you an example. And then there's a color wheel that shows you, if you use those colors, you can emphasize the feeling in your drawing. So if the person isn't happy with their haircut, you might want to use more red when you go to color your portrait, only because it'll express the anger and the frustration with the color. So like afraid is more of like an orangey color. Happy is like greens and like nice neutral colors. So look, and sad, you might use some blue. Maybe somebody you know got their hair cut and they were really sad because somebody messed up on their haircut. I'm going to show you, and this is Vincent van Gogh. In the web page, you'll see that I have a video about him, and he did a lot of self-portraits, and he was really great at expressing things with color. So I thought he would be a very good artist for us to look at. Okay, so why don't you come on over here and I'll show you how you can start your wacky hair portrait. This right here is my husband before he got his hair cut. Okay, he never wears his hair long, and he never has a beard. He's always cut and groomed really, really well, because he's a businessman. So I thought it'd be really great to draw him before he got his hair cut, so that you could see how to start. So what you're going to need is a piece of paper and a pencil. You can either draw the person in front of you, or you could have a picture of them, or you could just draw them out of your memory, whatever you feel most comfortable with. I like to draw with a picture or the person in front of me. So I'm going to look at the shape of his head, and I see that it's kind of he's got a long oval shape head. So I'm going to start with that oval, long shape that I see there. And I'm just going to roughly sketch that in. Okay. And you can always make changes as you draw. I like to put my line of symmetry just very lightly. I'm going to draw it dark so that you can see my line of symmetry, but for you, you want to do that really lightly. And when we do a face, it's broken down into 3 sections, okay? And I just put those on like really lightly. Now I might move his up because you can see his chin is a little bit longer than most people's. So I'm going to just move those lines up a little bit to adjust for his face. And I'm going to move his mouth up a little bit. Now, when you draw the eyes, you want to remember that right here is where the bridge of the nose is. And we've talked about that a lot of times. that there's a definite line here in the nose of the person that you're drawing. So you want to put the bridge of the nose in. Then you want to think about the bottom shape of their nose, because right here there's no definite line. So we're really only looking at this end part of his nose. And when I look back and forth at it, I sketch it. I just draw one little piece of that line at a time. And remember, it's symmetrical, so both sides of his nostrils should look kind of the same, okay? Then I'm gonna say, okay, I'm gonna look at his eyes and try to look back and forth and draw one. He's got some thin, tiny eyes because he's smiling, okay? And then he's got like a little, the eyelid, and then his eye fills that whole area, okay? And he has some. So when I do that, then I'm going to look at the other side and I'm going to draw the other eye. So when I look, I see there's only this much space from that side to this side. And so I'm going to try to make sure that I start it at the same amount of space. And I also can use my pencil as kind of like a guide, like a measuring tool. So I use it from the end of my pencil to the end of my thumb, and I can go like this and mark how big that eye has to be before I start the other eye. And then I'm going to look back and forth at my subject. You know, his eyes are, he's smiling, so they're not completely all the way open. And he's really happy. He's really happy that he's going to get his hair cut by me. Okay? And I look, and this eyelid is just kind of a little bit different. Then I'm going to look up here and say, okay, where does his eyebrows start? And they start kind of over a little bit further, and he has a little bit thicker of an eyebrow, and I'm going to think about my line. You know, I'm going to sketch it, but I'm going to use texture to kind of show, you know, it looks a little thicker on this side of the eyebrow, okay? Then I'm going to look down here, and he has a mustache that I'm going to think about texture again, using just little lines to kind of express where that mustache is. And then I'm going to build his beard up. And I'm going to think about those lines because, you know, he is not really taking care of this beard very well. And I see like his lip, his little pieces of hair here. And when you draw your eye, if you look here at his face, there's where the middle of his eye is where his mouth would end. So I can make that imaginary line come down from the middle of his eye, and I know that right there where that dot is exactly where the mouth should stop. Same thing with the other side. This is where the mouth should stop. So before I start to draw it, I'm going to put those imaginary lines in so it's kind of helpful to me. Now, I don't see the top, and I'm sketching and I'm looking back and forth, and I don't see the top of the lip of his mouth. Okay, I see just the bottom lip, and then I see his teeth. And even when I draw his teeth, I'm kind of gonna not gonna do them so perfect, because sometimes when you do something so perfect, they don't look real, you know? So I'm just kind of suggesting that. Now, since I have all those lines in, I don't need the line of symmetry anymore, or my eye lines. So all those sight lines that I put in, I'm going to erase them because I don't need them anymore. They were just there as guides to let me know where everything was, okay? The other thing I want to tell you is if you look at his ears, which you can't see because his hair is so long, but your ear starts where your eye is, and where the bottom of your nose is where your ear would end. So I would go here and I can suggest his ear, and it would come down to right where his nose ended. And I would do the same thing on the other side, right where his eye starts. Then I'm going to figure out where is the end of his nose, and it should come down to here. And you don't even have to draw the whole inside. You just want to suggest, where that ends, okay? So I'm going to add a little bit more texture here with my lines, and I'm really trying to think about, how do I make those marks? Because I don't think they're all perfectly straight lines. He's kind of got a shaggy beard, so I'm kind of suggesting the shagginess of his beard, okay? Now then I'm going to look at his hair, and I'm going to look at these really wild lines he's got, and I can exaggerate them. I can exaggerate these lines because I really want to show, like, oh my gosh, he really needs a haircut. So I am going to exaggerate them. I'm sure he's not going to like my portrait too much, but that's okay because this is fun to do. So I'm really going to think about, how does this line come up? Okay. And he has like kind of a bigger forehead, so I'm going to leave it kind of big, and he's got some lines right there. So make sure that you're thinking about your texture and your lines and how do you want to show. And if you notice, I'm going to draw his neck, and it comes right underneath his chin, and then he's got a collar that comes down, and his shoulders, I'm going to look back and forth because his shoulders go all the way out of the paper. Don't make your shoulders right underneath your head because that's too short. It comes way out here. He's a very big man, my husband. I'm going to add a little bit more hair here because I think it needs it. And then after I'm done, I can really go back and really put all those details in. Now I might want to color in his pupils. He doesn't have very long eyelashes, but I'm going to suggest them just a little bit. Okay. And then I see, he has these expressive lines that are coming here because he's smiling. So this is where you're going to go back and really think about, the texture and the color of things that you have. Like in here, it's a little dark, so I'm going to color that in just so that you can see that his mouth is open. So this is the things that you want to go back and do. But you could do this with color pencil because you want to think about the emotion. Like for his, I would probably add a little warm colors because he seems happy to get his hair cut. So try and think about when you go to color it in, what kind of colors you're going to use. Right here, see how it has like warm colors and red, like a pink, and it really makes him very happy to get his hair done. So I hope you have a good time enjoying doing your portrait, either Wacky hair where they haven't got their hair cut, or a picture of them when they got their hair cut and maybe someone messed up cutting it. Have a good day. See ya.